Hi YouTubers, so today we are in Affalterbach at AMG. The showroom itself is closed because they have a big event happening on Wednesday, which is the Affalterbach. It's the showing of the new car. But today we're here for a tour, so we're going to go to the private lounge, hopefully get some footage there. I'm not sure if we can get footage of the tour itself, but we'll show you around the showroom as it is at the moment and let you see what's happening here.
but long before there were collected machines. Okay, and when they started the business in the old mill, that was the second company place. Okay, it's called Burgstahl. I think you know all that stories. They came here after the 24 hours race win in Spa in 1971. They came here with 12 employees in 1976 here to Affalterbach. Okay, here was nothing. There was green field, and then they built it up to factory number 1. That's the building behind you. The building. Okay. That was factory number 1. It was a big view also in this direction and back on the other side until the street. All right. That was factory number 2. Later on, this building was built up in front of the original one. That was the first showroom of AMG. So there was space for 2 cars and the desk with the Aufwand. The entrance was here at the corner, but without the gravel, of course. Okay. And you can see your flag over there. Yeah, that's a very old tradition also from Mr. Aufwand. So always when customer came from foreign countries, he raised the flag of the country. And that tradition we have until today. Okay, so that's your flag today. All right. Maybe we can take a picture later on. I think we have it here and also at the other place at gate number 1 over there. That's the number 1. So when you put that in the navigation system, you will end up here. Okay. So very famous one. You can see the building behind me. That doesn't look like it. So, yeah, that was the first family house of Mr. Aufrecht and his wife Roswitha. Okay. And you can imagine when these 2 guys quitted their jobs in 1967 at Mercedes to do something like motorsport, the ladies were not amused. What a crazy idea, yeah? Skipping such safe jobs for something on the racetrack in the 60s, okay, not the best idea for the 2 ladies. But Mr. Aufrecht was a lucky guy because his wife Roswitha had her own business. She was a hairdressing master, and she had her hairdressing shop right at the corner here in the family house of these 2. And I always tell my guests, while Roswitha was tuning the hair of the ladies of Affalterbach here at the corner, the 2 other guys were tuning the engines on the other side of the building. So from both sides, money came in, and that was important in that time. Okay, you know there are a lot of big fences around, a lot of gates. Nobody comes in who hasn't the permission. So we are here in open campus. Why? This road, I call it the farmers' highway. So that's the shortest way for the farmers from the village to their fields. And that's the reason why we can't put a fence around. Yeah? For the guys of security, it's a catastrophe. But for you, it's perfect because you can have a look. All cars are moving around here, all the development cars, maybe from tomorrow. So today it's a little bit busy here, building up our event, so not so much cars are moving around, but normally you have the chance to see cars that you never see again until they have a press release or something like that. Okay. From the 3,500 employees, 10% are working on the right side of the street, that's production side, and the other 90% are working on the left side, that's development. Yeah, so please come here on that point. So that's safe ground. Okay. This is gate number 1, and you can see that our development cars are parking over there on the left. Can you see them? So on the left and on the right, there are development workshops. We have more of these streets, and here all the cars get completely developed, so they get prepared in the workshops and then they go on the long-term testing. Yeah? In winter, for example, to Sweden, in summer to Spain, summer long driven tests in South Africa, hot testing sometimes in Death Valley in the US, high-speed testing in Nardo in Italy, and all the drive dynamic tests are on Nürburgring Nordschleife with own testing center. Okay, and then the car is completely developed and can reach the market. All right. The white building over there is also a big development area, huge workshop with a bunch of offices on the first floor. I can see. So this is also a closed area, but we are allowed to enter it today. Okay, that's the entrance into engine production. So you can stay over there in front of the black wall because I want to tell you something about these two pictures. Yes, that's perfect because they are moving in and out. Okay. So I told you, not only the Mrs. Aufrecht pushed the young company with a hairdressing job, also this guy here, right? This is the younger brother of Mr. Aufrecht. His name is Friedrich Aufrecht. So he was an educated engine builder, and he also educated young guys building up engines. And 4 of these guys are still in our production site. And we asked them, hey, how much engines have you built up, you 4, in your whole AMG career here at AMG? And they said, okay, we have to think about it. And then they came back and said, okay, we don't have the exact numbers, but we're sure we built up more than 50,000 engines here at AMG. These 4 guys, 2 Italian guys and 2 Swabian. Yeah. All right, and you can see that's a really early picture. So this is taken at the first place where all began, in Groß Asbach. It's the G of AMG. So that was the double garage of the young company, where Friedrich built up his engine with a big grinning on his face. There you can see the apple tree in the rear. Maybe it's the apple tree, maybe it's the apple tree from the crest, we are not sure, but it could be. So a very, very early picture. From our perspective today, we also could say that was factory standard 1.0 at the very, very early beginnings, okay? In comparison to that picture, that's an industry standard 4.0, a fully digital engine production site. That was built up here in this building in 2018 and won the Factory of the Year Award 2019. Yeah? That factory is not located in Hong Kong or in Shanghai or in the Silicon Valley. No, it's located here in lovely Affalterbach. And the guys are really proud about that. Okay? Later on, 2 years later, Mercedes built also a fully digital production site in Sindelfingen. So it's called Factory 56. But there they built up whole cars. So S-Class, EQS are all coming from Factory 56. All right? So we will enter now the building and talk a little bit about engine history. So please come in. So in 1983, Mr. Aufrecht flew to Detroit Motor Show to talk to American customers. And he found one that was interested in a V8 engine with 4-valve technology. That was not possible at that time on that planet. Yeah? And he said, yeah, I would be interested. And Mr. Aufrecht called Mr. Melville in the evening and said, hey, Erhard, I sold our engine today. And then there was nothing on the other end of the line. And later on, Erhard said, we rented it. And Mr. Aufrecht said, yeah, that V8 engine with the 4-valve technology, your idea. And Erhard said, yes, it's only an idea, I don't know if it works. So that was Mr. Aufrecht. Yeah, a salesman, always pushing, he wanted to go further on. And Erhard had to manage it on the engineering side, and he did it very well. So at the end, they had a car that was named as the Hammer car, yeah, with a 4-valve technology V8, 385 horsepower, more than 300 kilometers per hour in a W124 sedan, and in such a family car. So incredible. And in 1984, they took the car to the US, made a press drive event. The journalists could drive it, and one came out of the car and said, wow, that car, that's the Hammer. And from that time on, the sedan, and also later on the coupe, are known as the Hammer cars. Yeah. In February, there was an auction in Europe where both cars were sold. The sedan for 660,000 euros and the coupe for 700,000 euros. So we still have both of them in our car park. So really crazy cars. When you show it to the public, they get crazy. Yeah, later on there was a 6-liter V8. Later on we had a 7.3-liter Johnson engine, crazy and convertible. Yeah, and that's a 70. What a crazy idea. Okay, in small numbers, but it worked. And that engine also was implemented in a hypercar, you would today say, in a CLK GTR. Maybe you know that car from racetracks. So you know also that terrible accident in Le Mans. where the car flew up and 3 times rolling in the air and crashing into the forest. Terrible. But that was the CLK GTR, yeah, famous hypercar for the race. Yeah, later on we had the 55 area. You all know the most sold cars in that area was as a 55 in the US. That was really high volume sold. And you had that compressor engine. Mostly you know the compressor engine from such a picture. Here you can see the compressor without the housing. So that's completely different to a turbocharger. So 2 waves are running into them and pressing air into the compartment, into the engine. That was a development with a Japanese supplier. But to run that compressor on the engine, you had to skip 100 horsepower, only to run the compressor engine. That was the reason for the high consumptions of 15, 18, 20 liters. That was totally normal in that time with that engine. Yeah. Really nice sound, but on fuel side that was a catastrophe. And later on, you couldn't argue it in comparison to your competitors. And then we had to move into our first completely developed V8 engine at AMG, M156, 6.2 liter V8 engine. Then you had the 6 and the 3 on the back, so a very successful one. And later on, we had the chance to go into our first completely developed super sports car, the modern Galving, the SLS AMG. Has anybody driven that car from you? Everybody had the chance to drive it?
I drove an SLS, yes.
SLS? Yeah, and how is the feeling in cornering?
I mean, I didn't drive it fast enough. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
friends SLS from
okay.
from the Lund, from
Yeah.
the French club.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah, it's a crazy feeling. So
It really feels like a go-kart.
Yes.
It's just so wide and long.
Exactly. And you're sitting on before the rear axle, and when you drive into the corner, the first part of the car drives into the corner, and you are second on the seat. So it's really a nice feel. Yeah. So that was the same engine, but with a different architecture. So it was a dry sump engine. Okay, dry sump is something you do in super sports cars. You want to bring down the engine maximum into the compartment. Our drive dynamic colleagues always talk about lowest point of gravity. And in that case, they put it away, the oil sump, because when you go with 1.3 G into the corner, you have all oil on the left, and on the other side there is nothing. So you drop the oil sump and you pump it from a separate tank always in the circle. That's dry sump technology. That was the architecture from the SLS engine. And these 2 engines are still built here in that building. So our 4-liter V8 bi-turbo engine, and strongest 4-cylinder engine on the planet, with more than 233 horsepower per liter. All right. Okay, here you can see live the Hammer engine, and you can see the base engines in that time were always Mercedes engines. You can see here the part number with the star in the front. And the 4-valve technology of Mr. Melcher, you can see the AMG part number here on the other side. Okay, so that was the combination always until our M156 base engine Mercedes, AMG technology on top. All right. That's the compressor engine of the 55 era. You can see the compressor now here lying in the housing. Starting in that times with the engine plate. Yeah. You can see the engine plate over there. The first were in steel laser, but in the compartment it gets hot, it gets dirty, and you can't read it really good years later. So we went into the aluminum one and it's printed, and that's the legendary SLS engine without the motor.